Hi everyone, it's Adrienne Leah. I wanted to make a video response to Cynthia, I am she, because she made this kimono cardigan and she showed her finished product on one of her videos. I wanted to make the pattern, so I'll show you the progress, and then I'm going to show some deck pairings that I have for client readings, and I have some decks that I use on their own too. So for the cardigan, I use the Loops and Threads Jungle Camouflage. I'm on my third skein, and each one has 507 yards. You only have to attach this part of the cardigan. So right now I finished the 16 rows on here, and then I have to do that on the same side, and then there's 14 rows to connect them to give the folded over kimono effect. For the pattern, Anu did decreases at the ends of the sleeves. I did 3/4 sleeves to compensate for having the amount of yarn that I have for this project. And one of my stitch markers is a leaf, and then the other one is a fairy. These are nickel-free alloy ones that I got off of Etsy. So I really love the fit of this. I'm using the same crochet hook, which is a 3.5 millimeter. I was thinking that I would do this cardigan because I wanted to use the measurements for knitting a cardigan. I did change up the sleeves a little because of the amount of yarn that I had. So I did the regular decreasing, but then when I got to the 15th row, I stopped decreasing. I love how comfortable the sleeves are, and this is a fitted sweater. It feels like, or cardigan, it feels like a size medium, small medium for me. I wasn't sure how I would react to the direction of the pattern in the front, but I actually really love it when I wear it. It makes a nice effect. So it tapers at the ends in the front, and there are less double crochets in this area where the sleeve is, so it's 9 less, and the bottom part is 40 rows up. So I'm glad that I followed most of the pattern, and I really wanted to have more finished products, clothing products in my wardrobe, because I have some that I did modify, and then there are others that I used the larger hook and different yarn, so it doesn't feel as flowy. I really like the flow of this one. It feels like a garment that you would get at the store. So I'm very happy about this. And I wanted to put more, or make more items that are more wearable and ones that I can use regularly, because some of the ponchos that I have, because they have larger holes, they snag sometimes when I walk, but this one is a tighter gauge. But I do love how Cynthia's has more over a larger size, so I feel like it would be one that would be really comfortable. This one seems form-fitting, so I like the look that it has. Now, see my time. I was thinking about doing the other suits for the Japanese Myth Tarot, but I didn't want to overdo it with those types of videos, because I didn't want to really take a break from using the deck, because if I overdo it, then I might not want to really use it. So I'm gonna hold off on doing that video until maybe next week. I might do a Spencer's Tarot video, because I do get a lot of requests on that, but I wasn't sure if there was another edition that came out, and I didn't want to put the video out if the cards weren't up to date, if more people had the newer edition. So I'll be working on that. I have to see which ones I have up, because I haven't done it in a while. So for deck pairings, I don't have the deck pairing for my Earth Faery Tarot yet. This is being released later in the year because of what's been happening, but it's completely fine. I wanted to pair this either with my Ogham or Animal deck. My Ogham deck was finished recently. So these are the backs. These are tattoos that I have on my back. So my deck focuses on symbolism, but it has different aspects of what a tarot deck may have. So it's been a dream to have my own deck. And there are a couple of my friends in here and loved ones / loved ones. So it's a special deck, and it has my pets in it too, and different fae. This one I keep in my bag. I also like keeping an everyday deck in my bag too. A pair that some of you may have seen is the Everyday Witch Tarot. And I really do use this for everyday readings, and there is a wide range of specific readings that I use this deck for too. So I consider this one of my main decks. I love everything about this deck. I don't want to edge this copy. I want to keep it the way that it is. I may edge the second copy because when I get another copy of a deck, I tend to make it different than the other deck that I had. I don't have many second copies of decks, but this one I wanted to get one for because I use it a lot. And with this one, I use the Magical Unicorns Oracle. I work well with Doreen Virtue decks. I don't have anything against her. So I don't mind having gilding on my decks sometimes. I really love it. This one has a gold gilding. It's worn in, but I do like the worn in look for most of my decks. I say most because some of my decks are fragile, and you'll see that for the next deck. So I use this one a lot, and the titles on the cards and the imagery make their way through my thought process, and it makes sense to me with her decks, so there is a connection there. These aren't going to be all of them, and some of them might be switched out. So one that is the cardstock that we'll wear in a lot is the Theater Dolls Tarot. There's also some listings that say it's the Puppet Theater Tarot, but this is a Russian deck. It's one of my favorite decks for reading because it has smart interpretations. And this is on stage, and there are the mannequins and props. I heard the book is well written. It's in Russian, so I haven't read it yet, but there is a English version. It's available for free on her website, so Maria Carrera. Then the Everyday Witch is Deborah Blake and illustrated by I know her last name's Alva. So I love the illustrations, and I really love the way that the cards are depicted on this deck. I did do a review on this one. There's a lot of detail from the back, the curtains, to the pictures of the back on the curtains. There's a cohesiveness throughout the suits because there's certain symbols that are consistent. The way that the mannequins are acting, because it seems like an acting deck. I wanted to pair the Everyday Witch Oracle with the Theater Dolls Tarot because I have a tendency to miss the Everyday Witch Tarot when I'm not reading with it, so I do keep that one around. It has some of my favorite imagery, and I love the cats on the Everyday Witch Oracle. This turned out to be a deck where I had the accompanying deck to like the Tarot and Oracle, but I didn't use them together because it kind of felt like a lot of the love was going to the first deck, so there wasn't a lot of opportunities to use this one. But I think it would be worthwhile to use this with the Theater Dolls Tarot. I was thinking about what I would like to pair this one off if I were to pull out an Oracle card. And I do love the titles on the cards. I think the book is nice, but I feel like it's nice to use the imagery with the titles on the cards, and it works nicely. The imagery works really well with the title, is what I'm saying. And the illustrator is Elizabeth Alba. So I do have a reading out right now. It's called The Message from Kitsune. And so I just use the Foxfire Oracle for that one. But some of my decks have the Fox Spirit. This feels like a everyday deck. This one and the Forest Faery Tarot Oracle by Lucy Cavendish are the ones that I use. I did a lot of in-depth work with the Fairy Forest Oracle, and I have a tendency to do some writing and underline, and sometimes I write stuff in the booklets. I mainly underline it because the writing is more on the journaling side. So it's a way where I just shorten it for myself. So I'm still deciding what to read with the Japanese Myth Tarot. This is a deck that I would like to use for life path readings. So if there's a question that involves a choice or something in the future, maybe having to do with soul contracts, I feel like this is a deck that I would want to use for those things. And even relationship type of readings, if there are things that are going to happen, because there may be choice, but I do feel like there's some things that can be the ultimate outcome. I love the architecture and the imagery, the coloration. It's an amazing deck, and I do love the symbolism in here too. So there's the other deck that I saw Mary Grace was using. I use this deck mainly for myself. It's the one-worded answer type of decks. It's the Druidcraft Tarot. And with the Japanese myth, I also feel like it'd be nice for goddess readings or deity readings. A deck that I'm using, but I don't have a pair for it right now, is the Terra Nova. I use this for my money readings. It's my main deck for money readings. I could use another one if I feel like I would want to. This one I really associate with the money readings because of the frugality of this one. And not like that type of reading is going to be like that every time, but it's one that I have been using for a couple of years, and I gave my first copy to my friend before I moved, so I got another copy. And another deck that I don't have a pairing for is the Slavic Tarot. I feel like I want to use this for shorter readings or shorter card spreads because there's a lot of stuff packed into the cards. Similarly to the Earth Fairy Tarot. I have two more left if I said that this is my last one, but this has a warmth to it. There's a lot of honesty in this deck, and it's introspective. You can do 1 to 5 card draws and it'd be in depth. The elements for wands and swords are switched around. Or if you read with swords being fire and wands being air, then it wouldn't be switched if that's what you do regularly. But I think it fits well for the deck because it's not too in your face. So if you're not familiar with that, or if you just prefer not to have that, then it's not intrusive. I do like when they switch the suits sometimes. And with this one, there are only 9 decks last time I heard, because I follow the artist on Instagram, and she's not reproducing the decks unless there's a high demand for it. But this is a nice cardstock, even though it's thin. I like thin cardstock, but it feels like it has a heavy coating on it, the plastic coating. And so I don't see any wear on my deck, even though the borders are white. And I shuffle my decks a lot. I think she is doing shipping once a week though, or she is rearranging her schedule for shipping the decks because of I think she might be in quarantine still. So the last two I also associate with spiritual deity readings. I did keep my deck on my Maca altar, my Fairy Queen Maca altar, and it's the Way Home Tarot. I received this as a gift when I was finished the Earth Fairy Tarot, and I was only using the Earth Fairy Tarot at that time, and I didn't buy any decks or use other decks for a couple months, and this came to me, and I feel like it was an ode to the fairy realm, because I feel like my lineage is I have Fae lineage, so I also feel like this is a smart deck too. I don't know if you heard the crow when I said that. I love the interpretations this deck has. I do feel like this is a cooler seasoned deck. So I got this in the fall, and I use this a lot in the fall with my deck. And this was a surprise. I wasn't looking at other decks either. So I love the court cards in here. And the cardstock is a nice smooth one. This kind of looks like a portal. I think that could be what it was meant to be. So with this deck, I have the two Forest and Ocean Oracle. Then I had blue stitch definition on this. So up close you can see the cabling. This one I did an inverted diamonds pattern. So I got these as a winter holiday gift, and I love the cardstock of these. The Ocean Oracle has more than the Forest Oracle. And I do like using this for my goddess readings too. So I thought it'd be a nice pair for the Way Home Tarot. And these are also images from the New England area. I'm assuming the Rhode Island area because the creator is from that area. Sorry, I said that a lot. But I'm happy when I look at this deck because I grew up in the Northeast and partially in the New England area, so it feels like a homey deck. And this can also be a general deck to finish off of a reading from using a heavier deck, like a heavier detailed deck, or even to begin a reading or to add to the reading. Sometimes I switch up where I use my other deck. So these are the ones that I'm showing for now. Another deck pairing that I like using is the Linus Oracle Tarot and the Yogic Path Oracle. So I don't use those for client readings, but I really like the way that they look together. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.